Welcome back to the Torque&Chatter experience powered by Gasoline Alley Harley Davidson. Today's guest, we've got Chelsea Leahy, professional drag racer. Sit back and enjoy. Cheers. Hey, Chelsea.
Hi, how you going? Thanks for having me.
Good. Thanks for coming in. It's awesome. So for the person that doesn't know, what do you do?
Pretty much, I'd say it's more of a hobby, but it is being taken to a bit of a professional level, is drag racing. I'm now, as of 2020, an international racer. Went over to New Zealand earlier in the year. But yeah, drag racing is something that takes up my whole life, and yeah.
Being racing in New Zealand, like, you got one round out of the way, didn't you?
Yeah,
Is that right?
Yeah, so I went over with the Aeroflow Outlaw Nitro funny cars. Yep. We were meant to do 2 rounds in New Zealand. One was in the North Island in Mary, which was at the end of February. And then we were meant to go back over at the end of March down to, it's a track near Wellington. Mm-hmm. And then unfortunately, due to the corona crisis.
That thing.
Yeah. The Sunday before we were meant to fly out to do the second race in New Zealand, it got cancelled just due to the borders of New Zealand closing and having to quarantine for 2 weeks, and yeah.
Wow. So you had all your vehicles over there.
Yeah. So
all the team.
All the race cars were over there at the time.
Yeah.
They were almost ready to be set up at the racetrack. We were only really 4 days out of setting it all up. And yeah, unfortunately it all had to be cancelled, and yeah.
Wow. That's, the infrastructure that obviously has been put together for your series.
Yeah.
So all the cars, everyone's over there. How does that go? Like, what happens? Do they get frozen there for a while, or? Yeah,
so pretty much between the February and March event, the cars were kept over there.
Yep.
They were serviced. Any maintenance that needed done on the cars was done over in New Zealand. And then as soon as they couldn't come out of the trailer, they were held up in New Zealand because as far as I'm aware, they had like a 4-week shutdown.
Just legitimate. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So up until that 4 weeks, they couldn't get them into the shipping container. Wow. So yeah, they were pretty much held up.
Isn't it a crazy time with that stuff? Like, seriously, like, you put all this time and effort into, like, that series to New Zealand has probably been planning for 12, 18 months at least, I guess.
It was, and there was even magazines that came out with the ad of the race that was going to be on, and so much work goes into it coming from another country. It was very unfortunate we couldn't go.
Yep. Yeah. So what's the plan down the track? That's dipping the toes into the water of being an international racer for New Zealand. Do you think the funny cars will go back there?
I hope so.
Yep.
In the couple of years to come.
Yep.
I would say that we could maybe head back over there, because the event that we had at the end of February at Mary, which is just off Auckland, was a huge success, and there were so many race fans there. It was a good atmosphere, and hopefully we can one day duplicate that again.
Before you've been there, have you been there? Sorry, as just a guest or a visitor to watch it? Because the racing scene over there, whether it's bikes and cars, New Zealand's really like hot rod shows and that. Had you been to any events over there before that?
Not to an event there as a spectator.
Yep.
I was actually there. I can't remember what year it was, but it was either 2 or 3 years ago. And we tried to do this exact same show before, and it got rained out.
Oh, really?
So yeah, apparently it's quite common to rain near Auckland. So
damn, New Zealand.
Yeah.
That's a shame, because the people just get behind events like really heavily over there. That's what I've found at the ones I've been to on that. It's just really, sport-wise, it's supported so well. So,
yeah, there was many great supporters there. And
so generically, how like, you've got a family lineage of drag racing for a long, long time. How did you get into it?
Look, it was something that I grew up around.
Yep.
I was always just wanting to help out on the crew. Always just watched my dad race when I was younger, say like 10, 11. My brother started racing in like the junior categories when he was, I think, about 9. And it was something I was just like, no, I just want to stand on the start line. I I like watching and helping and supporting. And then it wasn't until I turned 15. I was always shy as a kid, so I never really wanted to be in that spotlight because I thought if I'm in that car, everyone's going to be watching me. So that was something that I was very afraid of. But as soon as I turned 15, I kind of started getting a bit more confidence in myself. I hopped in a car just to do a bit of practice, just on a flat bit of concrete, not on the track or anything. And I just did a few little launches and I just loved it. I thought, wow, I just want to do this on the track. It was just awesome.
What, straight away, first time?
Yep, yeah.
What a cool feeling.
Yeah, having said that, I grew up around cars and bikes. I started riding a Pee-wee 50 when I was 3. So it was, Dad would build us dirt tracks. And so I was always around a bit of motorsport and, around cars and, so...
so it's probably bound to happen.
Yeah.
Realistically, if you break it down, this was going to happen. So.
Yeah.
And so 15, that'd be a junior dragster?
Yeah, so 15, it was 2010, started racing juniors. My first event was the Winter Nationals, which is a huge event. It's like the biggest event in Australia to start at, which was a little bit intimidating, but I was also so excited and I didn't really have much, I didn't have many goals just for that first race. All I wanted to do was just get down the track and think like, oh my God, I just did a race. You know what I mean? It was awesome. I actually made it to, I think it was about the quarterfinals for my first ever race, which was crazy. But ever since then, I just always wanted to be back in a race car.
Do you remember the feeling of that first time? Like, especially, you said the biggest event for Australia, but I think it's also the biggest drag racing event outside of the US.
It is, yeah.
Is that right? I think,
it is. They say that it's the biggest event in the Southern Hemisphere.
Correct, yeah.
So, yeah.
That's a huge one to start with.
Yeah. It was, I went out with a bang. It was good. But, yeah, it was
awesome.
Good. Yeah.
The junior dragsters, what motors are they? They've changed, I think, from probably 2010 to now, but... Do you know what they are?
They're just a one-cylinder...
Industrial sort of motor, weren't they? Like hot, very hot, obviously, industrial motor.
Yeah.
And still fast, hey?
Yeah. So I was probably reaching about speeds of 120 mile an hour.
In the junior car?
Yeah.
Wow.
Which is just half track. So you reach 120 mile an hour in about 200 metres. So I guess for a kid, it feels fast. I mean, kids saying... I was 15, between 15 and 17 when I was doing it. Yep. To do 120 mile an hour in 8 seconds was pretty fun. It was awesome.
Yeah, that's definitely something to go back to. That'd be grade 10 or 11.
Yeah.
So you go back to school 10. On Monday.
Yeah.
No one's probably done 120 mile an hour unless they've been with their parents somewhere.
But, well, to be honest, I didn't really talk about it much at school.
Yeah.
I guess people... I've probably had it all my life, but people look at me like as if you do that kind of. So it was something I don't really talk about it in social situations that people aren't into it. So, but I wouldn't really share it too much with my friends at school. Like they knew that I did it, but
it's just one of the things that you sort of did.
Yeah.
And how long do you have to be? Like, do you have to be in a junior dragster for a period of time before you can step up to a full scale, or
look, it's pretty much an age limit at the moment. Pretty much the average age to finish is 17. There are different rules when you I think it's if you're 17 and the season starts, you're allowed to race. But I finished at 17, and then it's as soon as you turn 17, you can go into a street car. So
I guess it sort of goes back to your street license, doesn't it? At that point, so you can drive a street car on the street. You can probably go out and start at a test and tune or something like that, I guess, as well. So, and what did you step up to out of the junior car?
Look, the first thing I stepped up to, I think it was just before my 18th birthday. I went into an 8-second dragster.
Quarter mile,
quarter mile.
Mm-hmm.
Would reach 155 mile an hour.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, I probably wasn't too ready for it. but that's just how it is. But I loved it though. It was so much fun, but the speed difference was a big shock.
Yeah.
Yeah, initially, yeah.
I guess that, so we're talking about 35 odd mile an hour more, but it probably hits it coming out that first 200 metres must be just crazy, yeah?
Yeah, the acceleration is completely different.
Yeah.
But, and makes you think that junior dragsters, like, as soon as you step out of junior dragsters, you realise just how much more drag racing is. Yeah. Just the speed and, just
everything involved.
Yeah.
Now, this is going to come across really stupid. Can you explain drag racing to people that, like, what I see of drag racing is people don't understand it completely. Like, they don't see, like, they just see, oh, you're doing 400 meters in a straight line. It's really fast, but there's the mental games. There's a lot behind it. Hey,
there is. Yeah. Pretty much. There's different sides of drag racing.
Yep.
There's just there's a race where there's first to the finish line wins.
Yep.
But with these cars, it's all about getting traction on the track, with the slick. Like, you can go fast on a road, but to create that power and you've got to then transfer it onto a slick, and for it to then go down the racetrack. I mean, there's so many points that you got to think about. I mean, the car could wheel stand, you could go up in tyre smoke, you could be then overpowering the track. There's a lot of science to it.
Yeah.
And then there's also bracket racing, which is you could have one car faster than the other, but it's all handicapped. So we're talking about races that are won within 1,000th of a second. That's how close and consistent these cars are.
A fingernail.
Yeah.
Like, literally, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And the cars you try and make in bracket racing, you try and make it as consistent as you can. And it's also got to do with reaction time.
Yeah.
So you've got to be really quick off the start line, because if you wait that little bit more, you're going to lose that race.
And do you personally do anything with reaction time stuff, like any sort of training for it? Or?
Yeah, you can buy, which I have, a practice tree.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, and it's just got a little button on it, and which in bracket racing, a lot of people have a trans brake, which is placed on the steering wheel, and you hold the button. That then puts the vehicle between first and neutral. So then it kind of just neutralizes the car out, and then you let go, and then it then goes off in first. But it's all off reaction time of when using your thumb. Yep.
So that trans brake, obviously, it loads the car up as well.
Yep.
So you're loading it.
Yep.
Ready,
so you
ready,
put
ready.
your trans brake on, then your foot down on the throttle.
Yep.
As I said, it holds it between that first and neutral.
First, yeah.
As soon as you let go, it clicks back into first, and then off you go.
And say the nitro funny cars that you drive, they're a 2-speed, aren't they?
Yeah.
They are?
Yep.
So you load it from neutral, sitting there on trans brake, as such?
That car is completely different. It's actually a clutch car.
Oh, your funny car is?
Yeah, the funny car is, yeah. So, that's all just a 2-speed Lenco with a clutch. So that car you leave off the start line completely different. You just pretty much put your foot down on the throttle and go. So
it's more like what you'd say a natural car that you drive would be, traditionally.
Yeah. So if you're stopped, you put the clutch in. And, So.
Gee, that must be, especially for people that jumping out of one with a trans brake to the other, that must be hard to get your head around.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of things to think about. Just driving you put it into first or reverse or whatever, and just driving the clutch, because I guess you got to feel it as well. Releasing the clutch, you got to feel that the car's actually moving, and
I guess that's where like you said, consistency.
Yeah.
So you build a car for consistency. So you want to know where the clutch takes and stuff like that as well. That's obviously a big part.
Yeah.
So we touched on the family stuff. So your granddad was Rolly, correct?
Yeah, my grandfather was Rolly. He was driving, was racing at least in the 60s, as far as I'm aware. So down in Adelaide, and then he raced a lot out at Surfers Paradise.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So he's obviously the father of my dad and also my uncle. They're both racers as well.
So it's carried on, like your dad's obviously heavily involved as well still.
Yeah.
And yourself and that.
Yeah.
Now, you got to drive his car, that's correct, isn't it?
Yeah, the funny car is my dad's race car, yes.
But what about, wasn't there a modified or something you got to drive of your granddad's?
Yeah, so
is that right?
Yeah, so my grandfather passed away in 2010. Pretty much he passed away with a race car, and that pretty much to us is just like a family heirloom. It's pretty crazy that we still have his race car. We can run it and whatnot. We also actually have some of his ashes in the car.
Yeah.
And we've kept everything pretty much as it was when he had it. But early last year I got the chance to thankful for my dad and my uncle for letting me to race it. But I got the chance to run in it. It was the first time I ever went 6 seconds down the racetrack. So it was pretty awesome. But it was also pretty special to be able to share that moment, because I just felt like when I sat in the car, I kind of just felt safe. It was a strange feeling, but I felt like because it was my grandfather's car, everything was going to be all right. And it was pretty crazy that his ashes were there with me while I was going down the track. So
that's incredible. Yeah, it must be an incredible feeling.
Yeah, it was awesome.
What was the mile an hour at 6 seconds?
Look, I was going 6.8 seconds at 197 mile an hour. So
just shy of 320 Ks.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was a great experience.
So is that your fastest run still to date?
Look, the fastest run I've technically done is in the funny car.
Yeah.
But I got off at a half track. So I went 6.1 seconds. But that was me lifting the throttle at half track, but that was still a full track pass.
Yeah.
So it was only 170 mile an hour because by that time I was decelerating.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Gee, that's fast.
Yeah, it was pretty fast.
What is that feeling? Like
it's
teeth, eyes, like do you feel anything through?
Look, no, to be honest, I don't feel any like vibration or anything. It's probably more in the stomach of just you feeling like, oh my God, I'm going so fast. Like you probably don't. I don't even know if I breathe in that or blink.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's hard to explain. You just feel like you're on top of the world at that point. That you're going so fast, and it probably just like you probably feel like you got butterflies in your chest that
just everything
that's happening.
You're just so alert. Everything's on. Everything's on. And there's no
and
time
adrenaline
to think.
kicks over, and you just
Because like from the outside, I got to go for the New Year's on the start grid because Gasoline Alley is a major sponsor and whatnot.
Yeah.
So like from the outside of it, everything rattles.
Yeah.
Like your head rattles. Like it's awesome. But
yeah.
I've never spoken to anyone about being in the car. What it actually, if it's like that.
Pretty much. When you're strapped in the car, you probably feel more the sensation of the motor running, and that just kind of takes over you. I mean, when you're in the car, you're trying to listen to if the motor's happy, if it's revving okay, if it's idling okay, and so that's more probably what you're feeling.
Yep.
Like if you're right next to a motor,
it's all of it.
Yeah,
and you've obviously been around it forever, like literally forever.
Yeah.
Did you and like you build all your not build all your stuff, but you're heavily involved in it. Like there's photos of you all building your parts and that.
Yeah.
So you understand every single sort of function. If, like you said, the motor's happy and stuff.
Yeah.
You're right into it.
Yeah,
every part, aren't you?
I'm pretty into it, mainly because my dad was pretty much like, if you want to race, you've got to work on it. I'm not gonna bring you this car and you just hop in it and race it.
How great's that?
Yeah, I mean, at the time it was like, oh, like come on, Dad, like.
Yep.
But I'm really thankful that he's been that way to me, because it makes me more independent. Racing, I can, work on my own things, fix my own things, know when something's wrong, when something's right. But yeah, he's just taught me to be pretty self-sufficient with racing. And I mean, I do a lot of work on the race cars with him. but he says, if you're not there helping me, I'm not going to build your engine by myself. So it's always just been like, him and me, and
It's cool. Like,
yeah,
it's good.
been good.
It's good to be involved in it. Like, it's just, at least on your own side of it, you know, something's going a bit AWOL.
Yeah.
You know exactly what sort of what's happened. What's been that project, Mo, that you've been working on?
So I've got pretty much a new dragster.
Oh, really?
So I bought it early last year, and just last year it was kind of pushed aside a bit. So actually during this whole COVID-19, it's been a good time for me to actually get really stuck into it. But it's actually. But having said that, it's actually been a bit of a project with my dad. We spent a lot of hours so far on it. At the moment, the motor you're talking about is just a 355 small block Chev with a supercharger on it. That's going into this dragster. Pretty much this new car that I'm building, we've gone over every inch of the car. We've had the chassis powder coated. Probably everything in the car's been modified to how we want it. We've even to the point where we've painted the whole car ourselves. Over the Easter break, we spent those 4 days, prepping and sanding, and I was sanding the primer down, and
What a job.
So, I mean, there's still quite a few hours left in it, but it's been a good project with my dad.
That's cool.
Doing. Yeah.
I'm going to go to the Nitro Funny cars later, but between you and your brother, is Josh in it?
Yeah.
They're the two standout cars, like in paint job, and Do you guys do that yourselves, or is that someone else do the painting for those?
Someone else does the painting. They're mostly wrapped.
They are.
Yeah.
So those two, obviously it's Bandit.
Yeah, the Bandit.
Your car's Nitro Sheriff.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
So
they're pretty much painted black. The Bandit's painted black.
Yeah.
And it'll just be like the vinyl sticker of the Bandit on it, and the Nitro Sheriff's got the vinyl sticker on it. So they're pretty awesome cars. They're a bit of a crowd standout.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah.
Actually, talking of that series, is it a bit of a game changer within drags, do you think? Like, it's just...
Yeah.
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. It was actually voted in 2018, I think, the best drag racing series in Australia.
Yeah.
Which, hands down, I agree. I mean, I might be a bit biased, but just what they bring to the table for a spectator, the crowd, and the quality of racing that they do is just 5 stars. So, it's been a bit of a game changer because all the cars have a bit of a character behind them.
Yeah.
They've all got their merchandise T-shirt, and it's been able to bring spectators to the racetrack, being able to meet the driver, see the car up and close and personal, because in say the other races, they're like the top fuelers say, they're very like orientated on they've got to win this next round. So they're probably maybe not as crowd orientated as say we are.
Yeah.
Which is it's
good.
Really good.
I just find it really good, and I like. You just watch it's an entertainment show.
Yeah.
So you just see every single part of it. It's not just the cars going on the strip. You're out to a meet and greets, posters, and everything like that. You go to another drag event, and it just doesn't have that sort of feel.
Yeah.
I don't think anyway. So it's nice to see, and I don't know. It might be something that the other series might take on as well a little bit more, because it really brings out the personalities of the drivers as well.
Yeah, it does.
Which is a cool thing. Like you get to, especially for kids and stuff, get to know the drivers, and your Instagram pages, like when you're at the racetrack, like your stories, and that's always filled with kids getting posters. Because they're the ones that are going to come in and hopefully want to drag race or whatever at some point as well.
Yeah,
so,
exactly. Yeah. Or hopefully, I mean, the best I could do is maybe bring them to another race event.
Yeah.
If they want to like come back and spectate, that's all. That's a job well done for me.
Yep.
But I try and make every race fan feel special, and that they've got my time. Like, I never want anyone to feel like I've just signed an autograph and shoved them off. But yeah, it's good that the Aeroflow Outlaw Nitro Funny Car show can bring a crowd in and make them feel welcome to come chat to us. And yeah, it's good that it's like that.
How did that start?
It started back in 2013.
Yeah.
My dad actually drove the Nitro show for the first time.
Oh, really?
With that show. Yeah.
Cool.
So, which is pretty much how I got into it.
Yeah.
My dad, was the driver, and then my brother drove it after that.
Yeah.
The Nitro Sheriff's wheel stander. So, it's just it started back in 2013 in Sydney at Sydney Dragway. They had a driver from America, Tommy Johnson Jr., come over and drive one of their cars. And since then, it's just been a
Isn't that
ongoing
a good
series.
Isn't that a good complex?
Yeah,
Sydney.
it's good. Yeah,
So-
I like Sydney.
In the middle of getting a resurface, I think, as well. So
It is, yeah.
Should be like once all this stuff kicks on again, I think Perth's getting a resurface,
Yeah,
and Sydney's
yeah.
it's going to be really
So,
good for the sport
yeah,
too. So
I'm sure everyone's looking forward to getting back on the track. So
100%.
even better when it's more flat. So yeah.
The wheel stand car, is it modified to? Obviously, it has to have something different to do wheel stands.
Yeah, correct. So
Can you say what's done or?
yeah, I mean the whole vehicle is designed to do a wheel stand. The motor's at the back of the car, meaning that all the weight is at the back of the car.
Yep.
So pretty much at the front, there's nothing but a bare chassis, and the steering arms for the front wheels. But the whole weight and design of the car is to have all the weight at the back. It has got two, I guess you'd call them wheelie bars, but they haven't got wheels on the end. They've just got blocks that when the car comes up, just sits on the back of the wheelie bar there.
Yep.
So it's pretty much a car designed to do a wheel stand. If you put your foot down on the throttle, you're really not going to go straight on the ground. So
It's going to shoot. Yep.
Yeah,
With all that load, obviously at the back and.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, some of the cars you've been in driving and that have launched really hard, and the wheels have come up a bit off the ground. The first time going actually up like that, was it a weird feeling?
It was, yeah. To be honest, it's probably the hardest car I've learned to drive, just because you feel like as soon as you put the throttle down, the last thing you expect is for the wheels to come up in the air. You've got no then control of the steering wheel, and you start going fast. So it is a strange feeling to get over. I'm really used to it now. I've been driving it for just over 2 years. But yeah, at first it's a really strange feeling. Yeah.
So if you go, obviously you've got no steering. If you go a little bit off centre or something like that, it's just a matter of just trying to get it back down as quick as possible to get your steering? Or
no, I actually, when the car's in the air, I actually have a handbrake that I guess you call it a steering brake. So it'll either do the left or right rear wheel.
It'll just pull it to
exactly. So one wheel will slow down, and then that's how I drive. So when I'm going, say, almost 100 mile an hour on the back wheels, that's how I drive with a stick.
That's incredible. Because I watch it. I've often wondered how it's done.
Yeah.
And because it's still fast.
Yeah.
I
mean, on the back wheels, it's pretty fast. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not 6 seconds fast.
Yeah.
But it's still damn fast.
Yeah.
So, wow. But yeah, that, as I say, the funny car thing is really looking good for the nitro funny car side of it.
Yeah.
What do you think of the sport currently of drag racing?
That's a good question. I think it's going well.
Yeah.
I think just generally drag racing over the years has lost spectators, and I'm not exactly sure why. I know it's always, I guess as the years go by, you see less and less fans in the grandstands, which I mean I can understand because I've been a spectator before, and when there's oil downs and there's rain delays, last thing you kind of want to be doing is standing on the grandstand. But yeah, at the moment the sport's good, but it could be also better in show wise. I mean, you're standing there, you sit example, if I'm sitting in the stands watching Top Fuel 1 oils down, then we're just like, okay, what now? I mean, it's all got to do with funding and whatnot, but I'm sure some other entertainment could come along and make the crowd.
Just something for a little bit.
Yeah. I think drag racing itself is competitive if you're a drag racer, but as a spectator point of view, it'd be good if somehow it was implemented to be a bit more entertaining. That's just I'm just generally talking, say, at the local track events or the national events. But yeah.
It's just, I think it's the entertainment thing, and that's why I touched on the series you're in. I just feel that that's just providing.
Yeah.
You've got the cars with the flamethrowers, you've got a wheelie car, you've got all this stuff that happens at the same time.
Yep.
And I don't know, the spectacle is drag racing still. The purest form of racing is going to be that still, but it'd be just, I feel personally, I don't have a business model that this is what it should be, but it'd be nice to have a bit more entertainment on the side to add to, because it's a premium event. You go to it. Drag racing is awesome, especially for people that have never been. They're like, what just happened? And 4.5 seconds or 6 seconds or whatever. This is pretty incredible. Yeah. So it's pretty damn good.
Yeah, and I mean, it's also good. Drag racing's good because you can go into the pits and see like the cars being worked on, the crews and whatnot. So it is good. It's like an up and close and personal sport that you can go see them on the track, then go back to the pits and see what's happening.
Yeah, that's really cool, isn't it? I think that's cool. Like you go to other sports as well, you miss out a bit of that. Yeah. But like the Rapisada team this year, I was at the back of their transporter at the New Year's. It's like, in 4 seconds, you're telling me that there's 30-something people working on this car. Like, it's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Like, it is crazy. The amount of work that goes into, say, a top fuel car is just phenomenal.
Yeah. Sort of. Yeah. But,
you get what I mean.
I did. Yeah, it works out. Nitro car. What's is it like heavily serviced like a top fuel car?
Yeah. So because my dad's got a funny car.
Yep.
I've pretty much learned the ins and outs of it. Yep. Between every run on the night of that we're racing, pretty much they'll like set up the clutch. This is between every round, so every run. So every run they'll change the oil. They'll check the tappets.
Yep.
They'll then also adjust the clutch. So the tuning of the clutch has a lot to do with how the car will launch, and also go down the track. So they've also got they either put weight on it or take weight off, depending on how they're tuning the car.
Yep.
And then also pack the parachute and refuel it, and then they also do a fire up, like a warm up before they go out, just make sure there's no leaks and everything's a-okay.
Yep.
And then they'll go back out and run another 5-second pass.
And then do it all again.
Yep.
Wow. And then when you get home?
So when we get home, this is just something that my dad does, and I'm sure that all the funny car shop does as well. We pretty much tear the motor down till just a bare block. My dad will go over every valve spring, every conrod bearing. He'll check all the pistons, like to that. He'll do 3 runs, and then he'll completely tear the motor down. So that's how much maintenance. And purely he does that just because these parts are just very under a lot of pressure.
Yep.
I mean, conrods can stretch and things can fail. So, and the last thing you want to do is just have one small, say, valve spring fail, and then complete disaster happen in the motor. So it's all just about maintenance. So but the motors are just over 4,000 horsepower. So they're a bit, got to look after them.
4,000 horsepower.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And that's the thing, like you're running such low tolerances. Like everything's got to run, obviously, I'm going to choose a big word too, like synchronously.
Yeah.
So everything's got to run so in time and everything like that. So
yeah,
I guess you got to have it down to that part.
Yeah.
So say we have a Saturday night drag meeting. You've done 4 runs.
Mm-hmm.
A final, hopefully.
Yep.
How does it feel jumping back into your street car, like after doing 320 kilometres an hour?
Look, to be honest, it's probably like something you think about when you're driving home from the track at like midnight.
Yep.
But you kind of, nothing feels unusual.
Yeah.
You more just think, like on the way home from the track, you're more just thinking, man, what did I do today? Like, that's crazy. Like, but I guess you just hop back in your normal street car, like whatever. But, I have to admit, it does feel a little bit slower. But yeah, it's just more thinking like, yeah.
Yeah, your brain's going back to the track.
Yeah, yeah.
You're back on.
Yeah, your
I may have
head's
missed
still
this,
buzzing.
and
Yeah.
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 No, that is definitely awesome.
Mm.
You been to the States for
Yes,
drag
I
racing?
have, yeah.
You've seen them on the 4 runs? The 4?
I've seen it on TV, but I
in
haven't
person.
seen it in person.
That's cool,
Unfortunately.
hey?
Yeah, it is awesome.
Like, we couldn't do it here because we don't have the depth. We don't have population to do it.
Yeah.
But as a spectacle, to see 4 top fuelers or whatever doing that,
Yeah.
that is huge.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. And I'm sure the spectators love it.
Yeah.
I'd love to experience it one day. I did go to Las Vegas where they have the 4 wide.
Yep.
But because it was the second race to finish the season, so it was like the second last race of the season, they only do the 2. They had the four tracks, like the 4 lanes there.
Yep.
But they only did the 2 just because it's so close in points and whatnot. So I think that's why they do the two runs.
Back to that. Yep.
I'd love to see the 4 wide in person.
What was it like seeing drag racing in the US?
To be honest, it's completely different in the atmosphere.
Really?
Yeah, the spectators over there are just so, they're a lot more passionate. And
Really?
I think that's just generally Americans are very passionate about what they believe in. They love it. They love like you're sitting in the crowd and they know that driver and they start yelling at the driver, cheering them on, and yeah, it's very, yeah, you can feel the passion in them. Yeah.
Everyone in America, whether it be like Supercross, and I've been to the NASCAR and stuff.
Yeah.
Every driver, if they're a fan of it, is like the icon in their life.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Like it's the favorite person in your whole life is that person that's on track at the moment. And
yeah.
And cars, are the cars much different? Do you know?
Say like the top fuel cars are pretty similar to what they run here.
Yep.
They do have a few different rules to say us. Just in generally say like different setup rules and whatnot. But the cars are pretty similar to what we have here. Yeah.
Pretty much the same sort of thing.
Yeah.
Now, social media, like it, hate it, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You utilize your brand, I guess, that you've created, and you've got a really good platform of people.
Yeah.
I don't see that being like in America. Same deal in NHRA ranks and that. You see all the drivers are really looking after that. Mm-hmm. They're putting out nice videos. They're putting good shots of the car up. Maybe even hiring people for it. Do you think that would be something that would help here in a way as well? Like, because you don't really know the drivers. You don't get to know the drivers because of that. I know, as I said, the spectacle is the racing.
Yeah.
But I personally think it'd help the sport as well.
Yeah, 100%
And for you,
agree.
like you've got heaps of different fans coming up to your thing, and social media is obviously a big driver of that.
Yeah.
Do you think that's something that would?
I think so, because I mean,
it's missing.
How many times you scroll through Instagram or Facebook, find something new, then find these new people or find this photo, or it would definitely help the sport.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, people also like to see gossip and, like to sticky beak in people's lives. So I guess as well, like people also want to know, you don't have to, I guess, post really personal stuff because I genuinely don't. It might look personal, but if I'm having a bad day and post a good photo, it's not that personal. But yeah, I think it would generally help the sport.
Just really trying to get those characters.
Yeah.
It's not movie characters like writing a script or anything, but it's just really trying to get to know those people behind the cars, because whatever the people are, like motocross and the super bikes and stuff like that in that side of the world, because I'm familiar with, I'll talk about that sort of bit. They are really trying to push that, trying to get that the characters out and stuff like that. And I just think that it's an easy thing to make it, and it's free.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
It's a free thing that just tries to get that sort of side of it up, and it's just not used as a resource enough in the sport. So.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I mean, people then can get to know you, will think they know you on a personal level,
of course,
which is good for them.
Yeah.
Like if they can see what you're up to with your racing, and and I've had many people come up to me and say that they've followed me. I was even walking in America once at a racetrack, and someone pulled me over and was like, "Hey, I follow you on Instagram."
Wow.
Like it's pretty crazy.
Is that a bit of a trip out?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah, because I was like, I don't know who you are, but
I'm in America. Yeah.
But to me personally, I've only ever had positive things come from it.
Yep.
I've met plenty of new people from Instagram and just social media in general. And I've also been able to, I keep in touch with other race cars in America and overseas, and it's good for me to see what's going on as well. So, yeah.
I can understand that. And for a drag racer, is there a training program for a drag racer?
Look, there is a training class you can go to.
Really?
Yeah, so especially in America as well.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly too sure what they're called, but there is, especially for juniors, I know there's a new class that for the kids that you can enroll in. I think it's maybe a 2-day course or something where they'll sit you down and explain all the rules and how the track works and whatnot, and then they'll get you in a car and do a few runs. And yeah, I know it's a big thing in America. So yeah, you can pretty much, anyone can go in and learn. Obviously, I think depending on how fast you've been before, depends on what car they'll let you drive.
Of course, yeah. They're not going to put you into a top fueler on day one, or hopefully not.
Exactly, so,
have you had any scares? Nervous runs? Like, has there been any moments that you've gone, whoa, I need to think about this? Or
yeah, probably. I probably had those moments more in the funny car that I've just recently been like training in. But apart from that, touch wood, no. I feel like you are in control most of the car. I mean, you're the one with your foot flat to the throttle. So if you can feel what the car's doing and you can feel that it's not happy, the easiest thing you can do is get off the throttle. But, and I know it's easier said than done, but at this point, no, I haven't touched woods. But also the most scariest thing was the wheel stander, because a few times it's been a bit windy where I've been racing, so it's a bit bumpy, but yeah.
That's I could only imagine if it stepped out a bit. It's so happening so fast. Isn't it? So,
it is. Yeah.
That's cool. And when you're in the States, Vegas, what other, did you go to any others?
I've been to Bakersfield, which is
Bakersfield.
Yeah, so
have they got a track out at Bakersfield?
Yeah, they do. It's called Famoso Raceway.
Of course. Yeah.
So that's, I think it's about 2 hours from
LA?
From LA, something like that.
Yeah.
But I've been there purely just for it's called the California Hot Rod Reunion, in October. Every year in October it is.
Yeah.
So I've been to that quite a number of times, mainly because it's what my family's been into. We've been over there and actually raced my grandfather's car. My grandfather has like a memorial plaque at that racetrack.
Really?
Donated by NHRA. So that's kind of a special place for me. I like going to that track, and but they're the only 2 tracks I've been to.
Yep.
In America, and there's plenty more that I want to tick off my list.
So much, so deep, the sport runs so deep there. So, I just think the American, like when they're in their sports, it's just incredible.
It is, really they're all very passionate about whether it's baseball, basketball, drag racing, NASCAR. They all love it, and honestly, it's good to be around.
See, you touched on hot rod as a hot rod sort of thing there. Are you, your family, yourself, involved in hot rods sort of side of it as well?
Not necessarily. When I was growing up, Dad was importing a lot of, say, American muscle cars. Yep. He had a few hot rods. When I was 5, my dad made me and my brother like a mini hot rod. I'd say it was like a half-scale hot rod.
Damn.
It was actually, had a proper motor in it, ran on petrol. We had a little radio that we'd buy CDs for and run in it. So we're not big hot rodders, but we have been around it in the past, yeah.
Yep. Okay, cool. And like the sport that you're involved in involves a lot of travel.
Yeah.
Do you like the travel side?
I do, to be honest. It's with the Aeroflow show, I've been able to travel to all different states in Australia and to places that I would never have been to before. Like I've been to a place called Swan Hill, which is in Victoria. It's just north of Melbourne, and just it's kind of incredible to think that I would have actually never gone here if it wasn't for this race, and get to meet all these different people, see all these different sides to Australia. My favourite place last year was to go to Darwin. Went to Darwin in July, so when it's kind of not as hot.
Good time.
Yeah. So, and that was incredible to go see, a bit of Darwin. So, it's been able to make me travel to different places, and I'm pretty thankful and grateful for the opportunities that,
Where do they run the racing at Darwin? Is it Hidden Valley?
Yeah, Hidden Valley. Yeah.
So they use the main straight.
In the middle of the whole circuit track, there's actually a drag strip. It's right next to the straight.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so
that's where they run it there?
Yep, yeah.
Was that a good show?
It was, yeah. And we were meant to, this year, it's been cancelled, but we were meant to be running with the V8 supercars up there in Darwin.
That would have been
so
awesome.
It was going to be the V8 supercars, then the Aeroflare show would run at night. Instead of, say, a concert, I think what they usually do. But yeah, we were meant to do that this year. Unfortunately, it got cancelled.
Oh, that would have been great.
But yeah, I was looking forward to it so much.
Because they do say that as a supercars, because the Northern Territory people are really passionate.
Yeah,
about,
yeah.
Because not no one goes there, but I think people recognise if you've got to travel to somewhere, like you said, Swan Hill and that, if you've got to travel to somewhere, people get really supportive of you coming out to those places, which is really cool to see.
Yeah.
So
I probably see that more as well in little country towns that we go to.
Yeah.
When you go there, like, thanks so much for coming out. We love seeing you here. We came last year, and it's awesome to see that people are so grateful that you've come this far.
Yep.
And you kind of forget that I live on the Gold Coast, and it's just kind of normal for me to be between Gold Coast, Brisbane, and it's
that sort of city, metropolitan lifestyle, I guess. Yep.
So it's pretty good to go to those places and see those kind of people that are humble. Yeah.
Awesome. Are you Gold Coast born and bred?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
grew up on the Gold Coast.
With Rolly, you said about that motor speedway over in Bakersfield. Mm-hmm. How come America? Was it?
Look, he was always just a fan of America. He loved America. He had a few friends in America as well. He was right into American cars. He never actually lived there, but he was kind of just had this obsession with America and American things, and And to be honest, it's like it is one of those things as a drag racer. If you get to race in America one day, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, you're living the dream then.
Do you envisage yourself doing that at some point?
Look, at one point I'd love to race there. Yeah. Even to the point where hopefully maybe in the next 5-10 years I can, the car I'm building now, hopefully one day can take it over there and race a meeting or two. That's probably something that I want to do.
With the logistics of it, how do they do those cars? Would you have to strip the motor out and everything, put it in a crate, or how?
No, pretty much you can just take the whole car in a container.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that'd be the easiest way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you get a box van or a box trailer or something over there, or a race trailer or something.
Yeah. Yep. And pick it up from there. So yeah.
That would be a great trip.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, it's definitely something that's on my bucket list to do one day.
So the car that you're building, is it a brand new car?
Not necessarily. No, it's an older built car.
And you're just going completely over.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. It's going to look brand new when we bring it out. It's going to have new rims, new wheels, new paint job.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's going to look good.
And what class would that be in?
It's a class called Supercharged Outlaws.
Yeah, right. Yep.
So it's pretty much a class here in Australia that you can be a car with doors, a funny car, a dragster, with just a supercharger, like a turbo or supercharger, a power adder to the vehicle.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice. And come race day, do you have any quirks? Traits, superstitions, anything like that?
Look, I'm probably more focused. I probably think to myself, don't get distracted. You've got to really focus, get your mind focused on what you're doing. I like to go over things a lot on the car, make sure everything's tight. I hate being on the start line or trying to start the car and something's going wrong. So I go over things a lot. I don't really have any superstitions or anything like that. But yeah, my main thing is just to get my head in the right place, because I know that where you are at mentally is a huge thing for when you're racing. So yeah, that's pretty much, I like to be relaxed and, yeah.
Do you work on that through the week as well? Like, do you do any like meditation stuff or?
Look, before a race, I do, especially with learning to drive my dad's funny car.
Yeah.
I'll watch videos just to get it over in my mind over and over again. I'll sit there thinking about what I've got to do in the car, because if you forget something, it's not gonna go down well. So
Was that stressful that first time in that funny car?
yeah, look, it was.
Yeah.
It was very overwhelming, because I guess nothing can get you ready for it until you actually hop in, get in the car, get on the racetrack and do it. So yeah, it was stressful. And when I'd even try and relax myself and think about it, I'd start getting a bit anxious. So
Yeah.
But yeah.
And what about the physical side? Do you have to do a lot of physical training? Do you race it?
I like to, personally.
Yep.
You don't technically have to be the fittest person to do drag racing. I personally like to work out, mainly because when you're at the racetrack, it is quite physically exhausting when you're lifting up fuel churns and bending down, up and down all day. When you're sitting in the car, it's really hot. You've got your fire suit on. You've got to then, you're sweating and, getting in and out of the car, you get bruises, and also just lifting your body out of the car.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's all normal things that someone say that isn't that fit can do, but it definitely helps. Yeah, I like to try and just, I mean, I'm not the fittest person in the world, but I just like to try and make sure that I am able to get through those days.
Make it through, for sure.
Yeah.
You're have you got a deal with Simpson helmets? Or do you just like Simpson helmets? Or
I've always just had a Simpson helmet. Yeah,
they're a cool
I like
style.
Simpson.
Hey?
Yeah,
they just got
Simpson.
that iconic sort of look.
They do. Yeah.
So did you just get yourself a new one?
Yeah. So I'm pretty much, because of the funny car that I've been racing or learning to run my dad's car, and also this new car. There was just a new type of padding, or I guess you'd call it protection, that comes down more around your neck.
Yeah, right.
Which it's just, it's kind of just like a more fire protection for around your neck. So it's something new I needed. It came from the States. The whole helmet was silver.
Was it?
Yeah.
The original one. Yep.
So, and then, I was luckily enough that my dad surprised me with painting it. So, yeah.
Did he do that himself?
Yeah, so he did majority of the painting, and then we got my name sign written on the top. So just Chelsea in gold leaf, by one of our friends.
Yep.
Yeah.
Beautiful look, that gold leafy sort of look with the helmet with the purple and that. It did look good, didn't it? So
yeah, I love it.
I bet you haggard to drive that.
Yeah, it's also going to be on my new car as well.
Is it?
Gold, yes.
Yeah, okay. And same with the colour, base colour, or can you not say?
I can. The colours are similar.
Yeah.
But there's probably a bit more blue in there. So.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
And when, obviously, a lot of things are on hold at the moment, but when do you think you'll get to have your first try of that?
Look, probably August, September time, somewhere around there.
So this year still, it'll be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If things, it's pretty much everything is ready to be back in the car. It's just the labour of putting it all together. But yeah, definitely this year will be up and running.
Oh, fantastic. What else does Chelsea do away from drag racing? Who are, what else do you do?
So pretty much I just have a normal Monday to Friday job at a car dealership.
Yep.
I'm just pretty much a warranty clerk. So I do warranty claims for a few manufacturers. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm just a normal person that answers the phone on Monday to Friday. So yeah.
Cool. That's awesome. And when you said earlier, you got a Pee-wee 50 at 3. Did you continue riding or did you stop?
Yeah, to be honest, I was riding. I started riding quads and whatnot through just being a kid. I did fall off a bike once.
Yeah.
I think I was probably 8 or 9. I rolled my ankle pretty badly, and that actually kind of scared me a bit from hopping back on a bike, but I was pretty always confident to be on a quad. So
Yep.
yeah.
So maybe one day get back onto it.
Yeah, to be honest, I'd love to get back on a dirt bike and just go around
Yep.
somewhere. But yeah, my life's pretty busy at the moment with drag racing. So.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think that's obviously got to be a bit of a priority.
Yeah.
For that. So what's the future hold for you? Racing? Do you want to manage a team? Do you want to just keep driving for a fair while, or how?
Yeah, look, to be honest, I just want to keep driving. I love actually crewing as well, but I also love driving. So I love every aspect of racing. But to be honest, I probably prefer to be behind the wheel. But also I know what it takes to be behind the wheel as well. So I also love being a crew member. But the future probably holds just me, hopefully, going a little bit faster in my own car, and hopefully, yeah, as I touched on before, just going to America and racing at least once. That would be a bit of a dream for me. But yeah, just kind of going up in the ranks a bit, and yeah, going from there. I mean, I don't really have, say, the sport in drag racing in Australia is just, it's not big enough to make like a full-time job. Yep. So there's not really, I can't say that I want to be professional in Australia because it's something that you don't really get paid for. In America, you would get paid for those being in those top ranks. It's something that also maybe I'd love to do one day as well. But that is very sponsor involved in getting, a bit of
corporate sponsors.
Yeah, funding to run a team operation there. So, yeah, but coming from where I am, like another country, Australia, so it's all a bit smaller. Working on my own car and continue racing is just
enjoy it.
Especially within the next year or two, that's probably what I'll be doing a lot more of. Yeah.
Well, would you ever want to drive a Top Fueler? Yeah,
look, I can't say that it's something that I think about and go, I want to do that one day. To be honest, the nitro finding car is what I would love to do. And it's a little bit slower, but to me, that's just so awesome. And that style of car, I just love. But if the opportunity came up and someone said, hey, Chelsea, would you want to drive a Top Fuel team? You've got to maybe find a sponsor or whatnot. I wouldn't say no.
Yeah, cool.
But having said that, that's not the be-all and end-all of what I want in drag racing. So, I mean, to me, if you're going 9 seconds or 4 seconds, it's all fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I love it all. Yeah.
It's a fun sport.
Yeah.
And I think that's, especially like you said, there's not a lot of, financially, there's a huge investment, but there's not a lot of money coming out of it.
Yeah.
You still got to be able to find the fun in it.
Yeah.
No matter if you're doing 9s, 4s,
Yeah.
12s, whatever. So
yeah. That's
the corporate sponsorship in the States is huge, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. You're talking multi-million-dollar sponsorships.
Yep.
So.
And the drivers are probably getting a good share of that stuff as well.
Yeah, of course.
So.
And I mean, it is a lot of hard work. They've got to do a lot of media shows, and it's a lot of their time. It's probably more behind the scenes work than what you see at the track.
Definitely.
And that's a whole different game where it's a lot more professional. Yeah, where they've got their own hospitality, like rooms at the track and things like that. So
when you went there, were you treated to that, or were you?
No, to be honest, I wasn't. I was just a normal spectator. I did go up to a few drivers, like professional drivers, and they knew who I was.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like just to enjoy it from a normal spectator point of view.
Yeah, it's good to be on the outside.
Yeah.
Especially when, I guess, you've been around it forever. You've been on the inside. You've driven. You've sort of done each platform. Yeah. Sometimes it's probably good to just take that seat back.
Yeah.
And just literally be back and just really enjoy the sport for what it is.
Yeah.
And that's probably a good thing.
I love just walking around the pits and seeing like the car that's sitting in the corner or the other pits and what's going on there. I like to see what's happening in the background rather than what's actually happening with, say, the pro cars. So, yeah.
With your car too, sorry, I'll touch on this. How many people run that? Like how many of a weekend?
Look, yeah, to be at a race, you probably want at least, say, 4 to 5 people working on it.
Yep.
That includes like tow car drivers, someone to check the tyre pressures, someone to help you start it, you know. Yeah, that's probably how many people you need.
And do you pack your own chute?
Yeah.
You do,
Yeah.
every time?
Yeah, mainly because no one else really wants to do it. It's a bit of a perfectionist job.
Yep.
Because there's a certain way that you got to pack the parachute so it comes out, so it blossoms, I should say, probably to it.
The technical.
Yeah.
Technical.
Yeah, there's a way that you want it to come out,
Mm-hmm.
that so it won't get tangled or anything like that. So I'm a bit of a perfectionist on it. So yeah.
When did you learn to do that? Like, have you been doing it for your family or something?
Yeah,
or?
I have been. That's a good question. I probably started learning it when I was, say, 15 or something.
Okay.
It's just something I used to do on my dad's car.
Yep.
And then just ever since then, it's the job that I like doing. So.
And does he still race?
My dad?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Still races?
Yeah, he's currently, I think, 54 at the moment. So he says, well, I hear that he wants to maybe stop racing soon, within maybe the next few years. I'm not too sure. And I think he just kind of maybe also wants to just focus on going out, say, with me and just racing and, you know, have a bit of family time.
Such a great fit. Actually, it's a really good family sport.
It is. Yeah, it is definitely. My family's so involved in it, and it's good. It's kind of crazy to think that's what my family bonds over, that we have all these days at the track, the racetrack. And we all it's all about teamwork, and, you know, it's pretty crazy what we can do as a family.
Is your brother an older brother?
Yeah, he's
older.
2 years older than me.
And are you both competitive?
Yeah.
As each other?
Yeah, I would say that we're pretty both competitive. I mean, at the end of the day, we don't want to lose. But my brother has also always been someone that I look up to as a big brother. So when I was little, my brother would hop on the PB50, show me how to do it, and I go, okay, yeah, I'll give it a go. But he was always kind of the brother just to do something first, and then I would follow through with it. And he's also kind of been like that with racing as well. Like, he's always driven something before me, so he'll teach me how to do it. And he's been good like that. He's just the brother that I look up to, and, you know, want to do it like my brother. So
that certainly helps. It's better than some sibling relationships, eh?
Yeah.
So
No, he's good. Yeah.
Cool. Well, I think that we've pretty much covered most topics of what you do, who you are, what's involved in the sport and stuff like that. But thank you so much for just being part of the show. Like, we really appreciate it, and just sort of seeing, as I say, you're the first drag racing person that we've had on, and just sort of hearing some of the yarns about it. That's cool, sort of cool to hear, and just and for me, the family side, it's nice to sort of see. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's been good.
Awesome.
All right.
Take care, and we'll stay tuned for next time.
No worries. Thank you.